Right, hi there. So here's your do now for today. You've got 5 minutes to do it. You should try every single question, as many as you can. Don't just leave them blank. Have a go at everything. Even if you get it wrong, it doesn't really matter. I want you just to have a go, and then obviously check your answers with my working out when the clock runs out. So I'm going to start the clock. You've got 5 minutes. Off you go. 3, 2, 1, and time's up. Okay, let's get rid of the clock and let's do some answers then. 326 times by 42. Now you can use either grid method or you could use column method for this. I'm going to use column method today. You know I like to usually sort of mix it up a bit, use different ones, but you use whichever's good for you. Now 2 times 6 is 12, so 1 has to carry across to the next column. And 2 times 2 is 4, and I'll put that one with it to make 5. And then 2 times 3 is 6, so I've got 652. Then we'll move on to this 4. Now the 4 is in the tens column, so I need to put a placeholder in to make up for the fact that I'm really timesing by 14, not by 4. Now 4 times 6 is 24, so the 2 needs to carry across to the next column. 4 times 2 is 8, but add the 2 to it and we get 10. So I'll carry the 1 across to the next column. Now 4 times 3 is 12, add 1 to it and we get 13. Okay, now if I add those two answers together I should have my final answer. 5 and 4 is 9, 6 and 0 is 6, and then 3 and 1. It's 13,000, let's put the answer up here, 13,692. Okay, right, LCM. LCM stands for lowest common multiple. So you need to write out your multiples of both 6 and 8. So 6, 12, these are basically the times tables. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, all of these are multiples of 6 and so on. And the multiples of 8 would be 8, 16, 24. Oh, right, I can stop now because look, I have found the first one that is in both lists. Now, if I carry on, I will find more. 48 would be another one, but I don't want that. I want the lowest common multiple, which is 24. It's the first one in each of their timetables, yeah? Right, add these two fractions together. Now, if you're adding fractions or subtracting, you must have the same denominators. Now, I don't have the same denominators, but look, on here, that's 7 and that's 14. That 7 could be changed quite easily to become 14. I could times it by 2, couldn't I? And then I would have 14. And the denominators would match. Now, if you times the bottom of a fraction by a number, you should also times the top. So I need to do 2 times 3 as well to get 6 over 14. That's actually the same value as 3/7. 3 over 7 is the same as 6 over 14. Right? Now, my second fraction in this case hasn't changed. But now the denominators are the same, I can add 6/14 and 3/14 to get a total of 9/14. Okay, round 7,551 to the nearest hundred. So first of all, identify the hundreds column. That's this one. Now that's the number that's either going to round up or stay the same. I'm going to check the next one across because that tells me whether to round up or leave alone. Now because it's a 5, that means I round it up. Basically 5 or above in that next column means you round up the column you're looking at. So my 5 becomes a 6. Okay. Now I need a couple of placeholders because I need to keep that in the hundreds column. So it rounds up to 7,600 and that's the nearest hundred. Right, express 0.25 as a fraction. Well, there's two ways you could do this. Firstly, I think the slightly more straightforward way, 0.25 is a quarter. It's a quarter of something. It's like 25%. It's a quarter. So you could just write 1 over 4. Okay, now it's a slightly more complicated way because you could put 0.25 over 1. Because what happens when you divide something by 1? Well, it actually equals the same. If you divide anything by 1, it stays the same, doesn't change. Now, on top of my fraction, I want to be a whole number. So I have to think about what do I need to times it by to move it from 0.25 up to 25? Well, that's actually 2 places bigger. It's like timesing by 100. That moves it 2 places bigger. And of course, if you do that to the bottom of your fraction, you must do it to the do it to the top of your fraction, you must do it to the bottom as well. And 1 times 100 is 100. There I've got a fraction, and then I just need to simplify it down, and I would eventually get 1/4. Okay, but I think in this case we could recognize that it's 0.25, which is a quarter. Okay, 10% of 320. Well, 100% is all of your original amount. So 100% of my amount is still 320. Now I want 10%. Well, how do I go from 100 to 10? How many tens go into 100? What have I got to divide it by? Well, actually, there are 10 tens in 100. So if I want 10%, all I have to do is divide it by 10. That makes it one place smaller. So it's 32 pounds. Okay, so if you want 10%, you divide by 10. Okay, now that's the only one it works with. You can't find 20% by dividing by 20, but we can find 10% by dividing by 10. Okay, right, that's do now's done. I hope you got most of those right or had a really good go at them. Off to the lesson.